I'm going to develop 2 rolls of film today, some fresh Portra 160 and some expired Fuji Color 100. I usually like to cut off about 5 inches of the leader because that will save me a little bit of developer, and the leader is quite a bit long after it's developed, so it doesn't need to be in the developer anyways. And I can get about up to 50 rolls off of 1 liter of Unicolor film developer. Okay, I'm going to load this in the reel here, but I like to set it in the tank where it's going to rotate in this direction, which is good. Other film agitators usually go in 2 directions, which will be okay with paper, but it's not so good with film. You want it to go one direction because the chemical has to flow through the direction of the film, so it could get between it here and come out that way. If it's going the other way, you won't get a good development. I mean, it will develop, but just not as good. So I like to bulk load black and white film, and I like to leave about 3 sprocket holes on my old film canisters. Okay, my water temperature is up to temp, and I like to develop between 100 degrees and 102 degrees, and I'm going to cut back 15%. This is my 5th development with this developer, so that's 10 rolls total, and it's still real fresh. Here's my time, and I'm going to blix it for the normal blix time. I got a chart for pushing and pulling, and there's my procedure for color film processing, and I like to follow that the best I can and check my pH level before each development. So here we go. I'm going to water rinse it first and then gonna go with the developer. So I got the developer going already. I already water rinsed it, and gonna dump that out 10 seconds before the timer goes off. That chart for pushing and pulling has times for each development, and I like to go by development, not by rolls. So I usually only do about 25 developments with that chemical, and I discard it. It's usually still pretty good, but I like to keep it in that kind of in that fashion so that I could have consistent results. I really like this new film processor because I'm able to keep my chemicals at the right temp, and all my water rinses are at the right temperature too. And that's a big key on being consistent. And you don't have to do the order that I'm doing it. That's just because that's the way I like to do it. But the main thing is to be consistent and to stick with one method that you have. And if you don't like the results, then you can switch it up till you get the results you like, and just repeat that. Write it down and repeat it. And you should have consistent results. Okay, after the blix and you have rinsed it for about 5 minutes, you can take a peek to see how the development went. And I like to stick with that 6 minutes and 30 seconds, no matter if I'm pushing or pulling, because I want to make sure that I'm completely fixed and everything is blixed properly. Okay, I'm going to finish all my water rinses and my photo flow and stabilizer. I usually don't use stabilizer. Photo flow is the same, pretty much. So I'm not going to show you each and every one of my water rinses, but every time you do a rinse or use any chemical, the water level is going to drop. So you want to refill it with equal water temperature every time. That way you're submerged completely. That way your tank will stay at the right temperature. I'm getting ready to do my photo flow procedure, and I usually like to agitate it, and I'm going to use my film processor to do it. Most people let it stand and sit for like 2 minutes, but I want my film to be clean, and the best way to do that is to clean it while it's agitating. And when it's rolling, you're not going to get any air bubbles. It's going to be continually moving. Plus, I don't use the minimum required amount. I use 500 mils every time. Looks like I have images here that are well developed, nice density. Every time I develop, I save those ends that I cut off where the film was exposed to the light, because it shows me how well the development went. And here's the expired film, and it turned out really well. You can see that it's got the density here right there and this base fog in this expired film, but it isn't too terrible. Now I'm getting ready for my final rinse, and I use distilled water at various stages throughout my development, and I like to keep it all consistent. Now that the film has been out of the tank, it's reached room temperature, and I won't have any risk of reticulation because my water and my film are going to be really close to the same temperature. And a distilled water rinse like this will completely make sure that you have no water spots at all. I never have a problem with water spots, and this is what I do every time I develop. It might seem like a waste of distilled water, but it's worth it, so I don't have that water spot issue. And I've tried different techniques. I've tried the Kim White technique that Cinestill recommends, which that don't work out. You still get little pieces of paper on there. This is the best way. Just rinse it with distilled water and let it hang in the bathroom where there's hardly any dust. So there you have it, my DIY film processor, which is a heck of a lot cheaper than a Jobo and works basically the same. After each and every development, I save these and I put them on my little board here after they dry, so I can keep track of my development. I printed a few of these images after I scanned them with my Canon Pro 100, so you can see the results. And these have not been edited, color corrected, or anything. The only thing I really did was just clean up any little tiny dust spots that appeared in the scan. Usually the darkroom prints, when you use the enlarger and develop them with chemicals, I hardly ever see any of that stuff, but the film scanners, they pick up like every little speck. I printed these on Canon Pro Luster on 8.5 by 11. That expired Fujifilm is really nice. That's probably my favorite. Portra is like really good too. It's a little more expensive because it's fresh, I guess, but yeah, can't complain on either one of them films. They work very well. So there you have it. Thanks for watching, and here's the small little intro to my darkroom spaces. And I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, I'll usually answer everything I get asked. And I like the feedback. It makes me feel positive, and I just want to share my experience like, you know, everybody else does, and I like to help out the best I can. And I also like to learn from other people too, and just keep at it. You know, this is a good community. The film community has been amazing. Everybody's usually really positive. And thanks for watching, guys. You know, like and subscribe, share if you wish to do so, and Have a good day. Shoot some more film.